at this point, let's get away from physical age and think about mental age, right? He's older. You get on well with him, and you get on well with his friends. That's because mentally you're older. Okay. You think maybe that he will have a problem communicating with your friends because your friends are mentally younger and he's mentally older. Right. So it's got nothing to do with physical age and everything to do with mental age. Then let's assume that prejudice is everywhere. Let's assume that we can't escape prejudice. Let's assume that when somebody says, I've got a friend and he's English, that I'm just going to automatically not like the person before I meet them because they're English and I'm Scottish. Okay, so okay, so the prejudice is uh, um, what is it? Prejudice is a statement of our own history and experience. So people think that prejudice is towards someone or something. No, prejudice is inward. Prejudice is a statement of what you don't like because in your world you learned that that thing is not good. But it doesn't mean that that's in any sense real. It's really personal. So we can't escape prejudice because prejudice is so tightly connected to things that we like. To not have prejudice is to not have likes. And if you don't have likes, then you're kind of not really human because you're not really a person. You're not really an individual. Well, I'll just do whatever the group does. Person of no personality. Right? So there's there's prejudice everywhere, and it's human, and it's something everybody needs to understand. And a lot of people who are being prejudiced don't understand that they're being prejudiced. So they and when they don't understand it, they can't control it, and it gets complicated then. Um, yeah, I'm thinking about relationship dynamics. It's generally easier for a younger person to fit into a group of older people than it is for an older person to fit into a group of younger people. I'm trying to think about why that is. I'm not exactly sure. Now I'm thinking about if a child, say 8 years old, walks into a room full of adults, the child will try to behave more like an adult. But if an adult walks into a room full of children, very often the adult will try to stay being the adult. Well, that's about habits. Uh, yeah, prejudice is just not. It's what I said about prejudice being things that people don't like, and not understanding that it's okay to not like something. You don't have to be aggressive towards someone or something just because you don't like it. You don't have to start name calling somebody just because you don't like them. Is it not to like them? You don't have to be angry at the world because you don't like someone. It's okay not to like people. It's okay. People are different. You can't like everybody. Sorry. Right? It's just the way the world is. So no, it's just a person who doesn't have social skills. Okay, let me connect that then to the mental side of things. They don't have social skills because they didn't learn or nobody taught them. And it it appears like it's some kind of mental disease, but It's no more a mental disease than if I say, here's a tractor. Can you drive the tractor for me? Hmm. Okay. Oh, what's wrong with you? You can't drive a tractor? Well, just like I'm not sure. It's my first time, right? Yeah. So if no one has been introduced to how to communicate and the need to communicate and why to communicate, and they're like driving that tractor for the first time. They're a bit lost. So it always so that's what the misanthropic character is. It's a person who doesn't have the skills because they've never experienced, they've never been in the environment of those skills. It's the same with, if you sit down to have a dinner in a very expensive restaurant and you've got those three knives and three forks and three spoons and three plates, and you're like, okay, which ones do I use first? And some people would look at you like, what's wrong with you? You'd be like, it's the first time. Not quite sure, you know, which um, which things to use first. So there's there are various levels of etiquette to life that we need to learn at various points in time, and to learn we can learn things ourselves, but it's much easier if we have a guide or a teacher or a mentor or somebody who can help us. And you know that you already said that when I look at other people and their family and their parents, it makes me feel quite lucky to have what I have. Yeah, it's a lot of people come from environments where there's not much to learn. My experience of looking for a house to buy is very, very enlightening, because I went into lots of people's houses and looked around them. And I was amazed by the level of the low standard of living that a lot of people had. And what you live with is sort of what you're happy with. Now, we all go through phases and we all can experience change, and we can all work to make things better, and we all understand that this takes time. But there are a lot of young people that can't learn anything from their parents because their parents don't have much to teach them, which is really sad to say, but that's one of the reasons why I think school is really good, along with all the reasons why I think school is really bad, of course. Right? And I can argue both sides all day. I can argue both sides. That the only way that these children are ever going to have anything better in their life is if they get out, they get away. And some of them will, some of them won't, and school gives them that opportunity. If you want to study, you can study. You want to pass a test, you can pass the test. You want to go to university, you can go to university. Because that's your ticket. That's your ticket to wherever you want to go in the world. Because you can, in the modern world, you can switch from any one university to any other university in any other country just about, if you want. Especially with European programs like Erasmus, whatever it's called. Erasmus, yeah. And lots of students studying in other countries for 1 year, 6 months. Which is, that's your ticket out. certificate, that qualification you get at the end, that's your ticket to, I don't have to live the same way as I've always lived. I can go somewhere else. I can do something else if I want. And that's the positive side. I can go through all the negatives about most of the pointlessness of universities and the very slow process of change, and all the money spent on administration and blah 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 blah. Okay, but school does give those with no opportunities fantastic opportunities. However, it creates a complex problem for intelligent people, because you put everyone together in one space, and we're not all designed to live together. Yeah, one size fits all. That's stupid, isn't it? Yeah, we'd never do that with cars. We'd never do that with T-shirts. We'd never do that with computers. We'd never do that with anything. Can you think of a situation in the past, any situation, where you have been angry with a person? Angry with the person, and you wanted to shout at them, and you felt your body nervous, and maybe you were a little bit confused, maybe you were losing control of your emotions a little bit. Can you think of an example? Okay. Now, think about how you feel now. Compare now with that feeling of anger in the past. Where has all that anger gone? Where has all that frustration gone? Because you don't feel it now, do you? It's gone somewhere, right? It's disappeared, right? It's disappeared. It's gone away. Like pain. It's gone away. And I don't think that, here's how I look at it. I don't think that it just goes away. I think that we let it go. We just let it go. Like holding a hot rock or a piece of coal or something. We just let it go. And all frustration, all anger, all of those negative feelings where we lose control of our temper. These are all things that we can choose to let go. We can choose to say, okay, that's it. Just let it go. It's not an easy thing to do. It's like saying, well, everybody can climb that mountain. Yeah, it's a big mountain though. Right? Yeah, everybody can climb it. It's not easy, but people can climb it. You just have to make the decision that it's important enough for you to do it. And human beings are very one-dimensional when it comes to emotional experiences. It's very unusual to experience two different emotions at the same time. We normally just experience one. And and that one emotion sort of takes control of us, and we experience just one emotion. It's like you can't be relaxed and angry at the same time. You can't. You can't be jealous and grateful at the same time. You can't. It's one. You can only be just one of those things. So if we can train ourselves with our choices to take the positive path, which is to always ask ourselves what we are grateful for that we have at the moment. Then there's a way for us to block negative emotional experiences like anger and even pain. So I'm sure you've seen videos of people walking on hot coal, hot rocks or something. Yeah. Yeah. And, if you say to somebody, hey, look at those hot rocks, walk across them, normally they wouldn't be able to do it, but they work on training their mind, they work on focusing their mind. And, some people can do it in 5 minutes. For some people, it takes 5 days. And they train their mind to a point where they can walk across the rocks. And the same way that we can train our mind to block anything negative coming in. And how I do this personally is find something which is, for me, an experience that I'm very happy about, that I'm very joyful about, and that I'm very grateful for. And to always focus on that. Now, I learned to do this visiting the dentist. Because visiting the dentist for most people is an uncomfortable experience. Yeah, for most people it's an uncomfortable experience, but necessary. And I remember lying back in the dentist's chair, dentist drilling into my mouth. And I remember thinking, well, I can't think about what the dentist is doing because focusing on the problem just makes the problem bigger. I've got to think about something else. I've got to find something else I can focus on. And what I started to focus on was my son. I started to picture my son in my head and think about how grateful I was that I am that I have an opportunity to experience life with him. And then when I realized that this worked, this helped me through the experience. I then started to apply it at other points in time when I was maybe a little bit nervous or uncomfortable about something. I would think about my children and I would think about what I'm most grateful for. And the thing I'm most grateful for is the experiences that I've had with my children, and that I have 3 children. And there's absolutely no way that you can have any negative emotional experience if you're experiencing gratitude. The same way you can't be relaxed and angry at the same time. And what you choose to fill your mind with is what fills your mind. The same way what you choose to put into your body is what fills your body. We just have to learn to do it mentally. The same way we have a choice between the chocolate bar and the apple, or the beer and the smoothie, right? We can do this, and those things are easy to understand because the physical things in the physical world. It's much harder in the mental world. It's much harder with the things you can't see. But the same way that you hold things in your hand, you can hold things in your mind. And you can make that choice. So there was somebody in my past that I was angry with, and that I didn't want to see, I didn't want to speak to, I didn't want to talk to them. And from time to time, because of my work, I had to meet them. And what I did was focus very, very, very strongly on my children. And when I focused very strongly on my children, I didn't experience any negative emotions. Well, the question that you're asking was, how could you be in the moment and have a meeting with a person if you're thinking about something else? You don't want to be in the moment in that situation. What you're trying to do in that situation is be emotionally very far away from the real point there. I mean, you control what you can control, and what you can't, you just let it go. You can't tell the people around about you what to think or how to live their lives. But you can control the people that you spend time with. Which leads to another great contradiction, which is you can't control the people around you, but you can control the people around you. Yeah, it's the same statement, but it has two different meanings. I didn't understand it. The first time I heard it, I didn't understand it at all. It took me a while to get it. It's two statements, exactly the same, but with two completely different meanings. You can't control the people around you. You can't tell them what to think. You can't tell them what to do. But you can control the people around you. You can choose who you interact with. And so it's those. Yeah, let's break. Life is a really complex experience, but we can simplify it as choice. Because we have to make things a bit easier, right? Because you can't just say, oh well, this is how you live your life, and this is life is complex, right? People and places and all these things. But what life is choices that we make. People that we choose to be with. Oh, I went to the party and I had a really bad time, and well, did someone force you to go to the party? Yeah, well, I felt that I did. What did they put a gun to your head and told you had to go to the party? No, you went to the party. You made that choice. So you have to understand that. Yeah, but okay. Let it go. Let it go, and it's some things are really, really easy to let go, and some things just you're like thing stuck to me. Right? Some things you can't. So back to a point. There are universal laws that determine the world around about us, and we have to live in balance with those things a little bit, and much less about what other people want us to do. If we are grateful for the choices and chances and opportunities that we have, and I'll give you an example from today. I am trying to organize the internet in it's not going to make much sense. I've sold my house, and I now live in a flat in Bistrica, and it's always much more complicated than it should be, right? And contract and then agreements from people, and they have systems and all these little crazy stuff like, oh, we send a courier to your flat with the contract that you have to. What if I'm not at home when the courier arrives? Well, we'll call you. Well, what if I'm working and I can't answer my phone? And all these problems. And at the end of it, the, the person said, it's all very complicated, isn't it? And I said, oh, it's okay. I'm happy that there's even a possibility to have something called the internet. So the fact that we have to solve all these problems it's okay. It's okay. I let it go. The problems are not the problems because my focus. Yeah, I want the problems to be solved. I'm not going to pretend that problems don't exist, but my focus is gratitude. I'm grateful for the fact that something called the internet exists. I'm grateful for the fact that there's a company that's organized for the block of flats to have the internet in the block of flats and they can supply it to people. Of course people are overcharged. Of course it's too expensive. Of course. I get it. But I can't control that. So I'm grateful for the things that I can control. Like I can organize for the internet to be there.